towards the end of the year, I was really proud of the kids because we were playing our best football the last 6 weeks of the season. We played really well versus a good Rocky River team, and really the game that got us over the hump was our Hickory Ridge game there at the end, where all the pieces kind of came together, offense, defense, special teams, and we really played our best game of the season. And you could see the confidence that it gave the kids. We had our first playoff game in a long while the week after that, and beat a good Davie County team. And by that point, going in against Harding, with all their players and all their hype, we competed to the bitter end. And not only that, we had lost our quarterback in the second half, and we were still right there at the end. And while it was disappointing when the sting wore off a little bit, the kids, I think, really motivated them in the offseason that, hey, if we can go wire to wire with the state champion, that we can go play with anybody. And we're still building this thing, but that last few weeks were really important to our development.
You mentioned about Grayson going down in that Harding game. Talk about his play in his junior year, now coming into his senior season, the expectations that you all have for him and how he's grown in his game.
Well, Gray's a competitor, and he'll always have high expectations for himself, both on the field and with his teammates. He's our most competitive player, so when the lights turn on, he's the straw that stirs the drink for us on our offense. But at the same time, we don't put a lot of pressure on him. We have other running backs and other ways that our offense works, and so we really preach 11-man football. So I think back to a game earlier in the year where he had 100 yards or so running and a few passing, and he was a little disappointed at the end of the game. And I said, Gray, you played your best game because both our running backs were over 150 yards. You made the right read, you made the right decision. So we want him to play within the offense and take what they give us. And some days, and he's really kind of responded to that. I'm real proud of him and how he's managing the team and showing some leadership. So we try to limit the amount of pressure that our kids feel by saying, hey, we got 11 guys, we have a lot of ways to score, and everybody will get their touches.
You mentioned, referred to your backfield and your running backs, and last season I recall you said you had a stockpile of kids, and you weren't kidding. Malcolm and Jalen really turned it up, especially with your receiving core going down. You really relied on that backfield. Talk about the two running backs, any other running backs we should keep our eye on, and the importance of that offensive line and how they came together as a unit last year.
Well, before I talk about our backs, and I love our backs, they work real hard. They're on the track in the spring. They work hard in the off season, and we feel that's a strength for us. But really, if they don't have holes to run through, then they're not going to be real good. And our offensive line was our most cohesive, consistent unit last year, and they did not miss a start the entire season. And that's a lot playing in the physical conference that we play in. And they're very close group of kids and a good bunch of leaders. And we bring three guys back from last year's team. The other two are right in stride. So as much as I like talking about Jalen and Malcolm, and I got a couple other young guys that you probably saw today that are competing for time, that it's really up front. And those guys have been with us all offseason. They haven't missed very much time. And I'm excited about them because they play together so well. And you mentioned our receivers going down. We had a lot of seniors receivers earlier in the year that succumbed to injury, so we were forced to bring up our young guys. Now that they've gotten some time and some reps under their system, now they're starting to blossom. So we feel we have the opportunity to be a lot more consistent and balanced on offense. So we've been working on our passing game quite a bit here in the spring and summer.
Talk about the defensive line, your linebacking and secondary core.
It's going to be a young group. We were able to keep a lot of our sophomores on our junior varsity team, and as you know, our junior varsity went undefeated. What they lack in experience, they make up for in effort and coachability and toughness. And so it might going to take a little while for those young guys, and we did graduate about 6 or 7 guys on defense, but I really like their attitudes, I really like their effort, and they are as coachable a group as I've had in a long time. So it'll be a matter of when, not if, with that group, but they're young, and what they need right now is a lot of reps and a lot of film, and just they need to go through the process a little bit to get better. But all the intangibles with that group are there. So even though we're a little light on experience, we still have high expectations for our defense.
And your kicking game's in good hands with Jared Wheatley. If you just discuss.
Well, Jared is I say he's a linebacker that kicks, but he's a pretty good kicker too. And our long snapper both committed to Charlotte this week, so we're excited for them. Obviously, with Jared, your kicking game is a strength, and he can do all three. He's put 53 kickoffs out of the end zone last year. He's averaging around 48, 49 yards a punt. And he kicks over 45 yards. So to have that kind of weapon, along with some of the other things that we have, because you have to be strong in the kicking game. And a lot of times when our offense had a hard time moving the ball, he bailed us out. So, and not only that, Jared is a football player. He's our starting field side backer. He's a captain. He's a communicator, and just an all-around great kid. So I can't think of enough good things to say about him.
And you've been here this third season now. Feel the program's turned the corner. You're happy where the program is at this point?
I mean, if you know me pretty well, I'm never quite happy, but we feel the program is healthy now. Our numbers are up, both in the middle school and in the high school programs, and we feel like we're moving in a positive direction. Particularly, we won our first middle school championship on the 7th grade last year. Our JV won the conference, and the varsity was a couple steps away from a big win. So we feel we've got off the mat a little bit. We still have a lot of areas that we need to improve upon, but I think now we're ready to go compete. 5 of the teams that we lost to last year all made the second round of the playoffs or better. So we know we're knocking on the doorstep a little bit, and we're just trying to close that gap a little bit more.